Welcome to Graveyard Keeper, a game where desecrating corpses for their parts and raising an army of the dead is barely scratching the surface of the crimes against humanity you can commit against the people you meet. Oh, and did I say meat? Funny I should say that, as in this game you can also open your very own 5-star dining establishment, selling the most delectable food around. But unfortunately, my property does not have any cows, so I have to get creative. That's right, in this video I'll be using my position as a graveyard keeper to turn this entire town into cannibals through use of slave labor. So, let us begin. We begin the game and very quickly we find out that this entire plot is actually just an isekai, so that means that it's time to quit and uninstall the game. Not really though. All this means is that the entire plot of this game revolves around us trying to get back to our world. But I immediately put this to the side as I don't care about my virtual wife, and instead want to cause NPCs misery and pain, because if I was to do what I'm going to be doing in the next few minutes in real life, I'd go to a funky place called the Electric Chair and have a Netflix documentary made about me years later. Talking about NPCs, we actually find one the moment we step outside our house, which we can't cause any pain, because I don't know what would be more painful than being a talking skull with amnesia. This is Jerry, and he's a pretty chill dude, even though he's a raging alcoholic who lives rent-free in my basement. I would kick him out given the chance, however, he is a crucial part of my plans. I then get to spend the next few days getting used to my job as a graveyard keeper, meeting key crucial figures such as the town innkeeper and also mayor, who says he will buy meat off me if I have a specifically decreed royal stamp. Keep this in mind for later. We also meet the donkey responsible for bringing me the bodies. After a little while though, he has a bit of a Joker moment and shits on the road. Soon after, he comes back spouting communist propaganda, and like every communist, demands my labor for his benefit. Begrudgingly, I comply. After a while of routine crimes against humanity and sprucing up my graveyard a bit, I gain access to the church, which allows me to rapidly progress the game and grants me access to something I've always wanted to do: give sermons. I'd like to say a few words. Our church is great. Nice. And now, let us play... Fuck. Okay. Your donations are welcome. Great sermon. Well, that went well. After clearing out my basement of obstacles, I find yet another freeloader on my property. God, I wish this was Texas. But then again, this is also another important character, as because of my serious hesitancy to part with my money, I am not gonna pay the court a single damn cent for their ludicrously priced stamp. What do they think, I'm made of money or something? But with Snake, he is able to sell me a forged stamp so I can properly sell my meats. I'm not even gonna count how many laws I'm breaking with this playthrough. Also, in this part of the basement, we meet the most important character for our plans, that being Gunter the Zombie. Due to the last Graveyard Keeper's use of dark magics, Gunter was brought back to life, but with a twist. He was intelligent. After a bit of give and take, the take being me slicing him with my sword for his pleasure, fucking weirdo, and the take being him giving me the ability to reincarnate the dead. Given my new ability to commit yet another crime against nature, I don't think at this point it would be any more morally reprehensible to also use the now revived corpses of people's loved ones to do my manual busywork through use of slave labor. Around the same time, I am sent on another mission to try and sate Jerry's raging alcoholism by fetching a bottle of brandy, and eventually dig up a buried still in the ground. This gives Jerry the idea of opening our very own inn, which will allow us to sell booze, as well as pushing us forward with our main goal: turning this entire town into involuntary cannibals. After digging it up, however, we are approached by a British police officer informing me that I don't have a license to dig, and that I need to buy the property. This leads me to Horodrick, who refuses to sell me a land permit because of a stupid reason, like that I don't pay taxes or something. To work around this, I then entice a homeless man. Jesus Christ. I then entice a homeless man so that he will allow me to buy the plot under his name. Do we allow him to stay in our tavern afterwards? Finally, we are actually able to buy the land and begin building the tavern. But before we do that, we need to cover two side characters that I think are the most important. Snake is an interesting character, because like every angsty teen emo band, he blames society for the way he is, to the point that he is envious that we are canonically immortal. I'm not angsty. Come again. I just don't want to pay my taxes. And blow up the White House. Holy shit, I guess he isn't angsty. He's just based. But our immortality gives him the bright idea that we would be the perfect candidate to help him with his ritualistic sacrifices. His first order of business is to send us into the dungeons to gather various reagents for his pagan rituals, leading us to a grossly underdeveloped game feature. After returning from that relatively simple task, he then tells us to fetch the fucking Necronomicon. Completing this task involved, a couple steps. I now need to decorate the basement to make it suitable for sacrifice. I for one did not know that one of the key requirements for successful human sacrifice was basement aesthetic. After playing interior designer for the day, I'm informed that I, in fact, will be the human sacrifice, which is not how I thought my first day on the job would go. Then, after being killed, I wake to Snake being next to me in my bed. Again, not at all how I expected this day to go. But he is not here for that reason. Get your mind out of the gutter. He is instead here to ask my assistance in killing a vampire hunter. Now, I am fully down to get into a bit of murder hijinks, but can you take a guess as to how he wants to kill this vampire? If your guess was normally, then you'd be wrong. Instead, he wants me to provide a wooden plank so we can levy a huge boulder and fucking crush him. And yes, we can take the body, and yes, we can turn him into a farmer slave. With this, we can now progress further into the dungeon and retrieve the final item for Snake, which is a golden apple, an important ingredient for his ritual, and using that and the dark heart summons his father. Wait, hold on. Not only is Snake an emo child, but he also watches the Dream SMP. As a reward for reuniting them, I get two items crucial to opening the portal back to my homeworld, so they're immediately going in the trash. The other character that is of some importance is the merchant. Because of the communist donkey, I needed to start growing carrots to sate his deep and never-ending hunger. So to do that, I needed to make use of the farm, literally 2 feet away from my home. After asking the mayor, it turns out that he nor I actually own that land, and instead it is owned by the merchant for some reason. After going through a little initiation ritual where I grew him some crops, he sees a potentially profitable business partnership out of us, where we can provide goods. He will deliver them to the much bigger town across the way. This works to our advantage as, unknown to our new friend, our burgers and sandwiches that he sells comes with a special ingredient. After all the wait, we finally gain access to our tavern. And what can I say? It's pretty underwhelming, so let's change that. There, much better. One of the wacky parts of the tavern is that in the basement, we gain access to this contraption that allows us to peer into the past. But I don't care about that. What I do care about is that inside the machine, we find the corpse of the old graveyard keeper, which I promptly resurrect and, like an 1800s British child, put him to work in the coal mines. However, now with my tavern intact, I can activate this event that invites all the villagers to come feast on my lovely home cooking. Yes, it's all come together. All the trouble, the toil, that annoying ass fucking donkey. It's all come together for this. Feast, my brothers and sisters. Feast on the flesh of your loved ones. Wait, I spent like 40 hours of my life to get virtual NPCs in a video game, to become cannibals. I think I am gonna go home after all. Oh. Oh no. Oh, no! No! What the fuck?